Hey, what's going on? This is another episode of the Reporter Vlog News. Um, with the final and double header of the day. And I'm gonna get right into it before I fall asleep. Shoot. Yeah, I'm gonna get straight into it before I fall asleep. um, it's a pretty heavyweight double header today. First story. I don't got no follow-up stories as far as these stories. A lot of times I'm not going to have a follow-up story with concerning our stories that I read. But in this case, uh, it's like I said, there's no follow-up yet on this story. But let's get right into it. Police in Kentucky's capital, investigating after KKK propaganda spread overnight. This is brought to you by WLKY, uh, with the publishers being Alex Suckow and Jamie Mays. Updated 11:18 p.m. October 12th, 2025. Police in Kentucky's capital are investigating after KKK propaganda was spread around the community. Frankfort police posted about it on Wednesday, saying it happened overnight in multiple areas, calling it an appalling act of littering. Deneen Petty, director of the King's Center, which offers free after school services, say that this is exactly opposite of the messaging she teaches students at her program. I was a little upset about it and a little disturbed. I would think with it being 2025, we would find other ways to come together and unite ourselves under different umbrellas other than hate, said Petty. Fisher did not elaborate on the type of materials, only referring to it as propaganda. Frankfort Police Department does not tolerate hate in any form. This behavior goes against the values of our community. The Frankfort Police Department is taking this matter very seriously. Facebook post from the department says, "You're always kind of shocked, honestly, but at the same time, things like this are to be expected in the world that we're living in," said Katima Smith Willis, Frankfort Democratic Executive Committee and City Commissioner of the City of Frankfort. It's people's right to have free speech, but it's very shocking, especially when it's in your community. Department is asking everyone who has found the materials or captured anything on camera to contact the non-emergency line of 502-875-8. Huh? It's 507. Okay, let's begin. The department is asking anyone who has found the materials or captured anything on camera to contact the non-emergency line 502-587-8582 so they can try to track down whoever is responsible. Um, Whoever is responsible. Frankfort Police Department remains committed to the safety of the Frankfort community and continues to support a thriving and diverse community that Post breeds. Well, basically, this is the KKK paying a visit to a capital of a southern state, which isn't really nothing new, but it's still a joke as always in this day and age. But this day and age sets the scene for scenes like what happened in Frankfurt. Because all you gotta do is look to the White House, and you will find your answer. The reason why uh, reason why racists reason why KKA or any sign of racism is walk so boldly up and down the street. Because you got a guy in the White House who's so bold with it without truly saying he's all about it. And that's something when you're so bold with it that you don't truly say you're all about it. So that basically sums up this story of the KK's brand and garbage in Frankfurt. Good job, Frankfurt, for maintaining a standard and standing against it. But hopefully hopefully their investigation is a success, and they put a stop to what the KKA was trying to do anyway. But once again, I'm gonna read that number again, and number again. Let's find it again and read it one more time. Department is asking anyone who has found the materials or captured anything on camera to contact the non-emergency line of 502-575-8582. All right. Let's move on to our last and final story of this heavyweight big doubleheader. And which is on top of this story. This story is still sizzling too. From yesterday at 1:16 p.m. I posted this. This is a big time. This is one of the big time surprises of this year as far as in sports. Talking about a big time scandal as well. Live updates over 30 arrests. Trailblazers coach Billups, Miami's Rozier, and over 30 arrested in two federal gambling related rings. That's right, 2 federal gambling related rings. We're pretty much looking at one of the biggest scandals that will come across the NBA in quite some time. And as a matter of fact, this is the biggest scandal ever come across the NBA quite some time. Let's get right into it. And because the story speaks better than the writer or the sports caster or whatever you go, or the reporter. Okay, it's brought to you by NBC News. Trailblazers coach Billups, Miami's Rozier, from 30 arrested in a 2 federal gambling-related investigation. Well, Trump's FBI pretty much came through with this one. Got to give him props with led by the leader, led by Kash Patel. Talking about breaking open a big time scandal, but let's get right into it. Members associated with the organized crime groups were also among those charged in the 2 separate illegal gambling-related cases announced Thursday. Okay, like I said, it's brought to you by NBC News and published by NBC News. Okay, that is one of those step-by-step stories. Yeah, one of those step-by-step stories. I'm gonna go to the end and work my way up. Matter of fact, let's work our way down. Let's work our way down. Best way to go. Work our way down instead of work our way up. Okay. Hopefully this ain't too long because these type of stories are a joke. Step by step stories. Okay, FanDuel DraftKings defends legal market after the incident. So with the defense of their own gambling of this what they pretty much sell. In other words. Okay, first story. Publisher Phil Hazel. Two of the nation's biggest online sports books market defended the legal market after today's indictment. Today's events are deeply disturbing, should concern fans, athletes, and everyone who loves sports and values integrity and fair play. A spokesperson for FanDuel said. They also illustrate the dark contrast between legal and illegal betting markets. At FanDuel, we use advanced technology and real-time monitoring to identify suspicious activity and work closely with leagues or data monitoring groups and law enforcement, the spokesperson said. DraftKings also defended the legal market, but we fundamentally believe that regulated online sports betting is the best way to forward and to monitor for the detect suspicious behavior by offering a consumer protections backed by advanced technology, either of which exists in the pervasive illegal market, DraftKings said. Legal sports books were used to the legal NBA sports betting scheme, which FBI Director Cash Patel compared to insider trading, but which one were not named at the news conference. They are not accused by any wrongdoing. The sports books themselves are victims in the case. Joseph Orsello Jr., U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of New York, said at the news conference. Trailblazer coach Chauncey Billups prison code. Portland Trailblazer coach Chauncey Billups appeared in the federal court today, acknowledged his right to remain silent with a yes. According to the reporter from NBC affiliate KWGW of Portland, who was there, Billups did not make any plea in the appearance at the U.S. District Court in Portland. He was released on conditions after an agreement between prosecutors and defense attorney. According to the KGW, those conditions included travel restrictions, no gambling activity, and no contract order and standard of conditions according to farms, according to the station. Photo show Rozier released from federal custody in Florida. Shortly after being asked to put his home up as collateral, Terry Rozier walked out of the Orlando courthouse of his own accord. Rozier waived his right to have his future hearings in Florida, and his next expected court date will be in Brooklyn, New York in December. He was ordered to surrender his passport to authorities by tomorrow afternoon. The judge also ordered him not to gamble either in person or using an online device. This is not Jonte Porter, Roger attorney said. So Jim Trusty told reporters he thinks his client has a great case following Roger's initial hearing at a federal courthouse in Orlando, Florida, this afternoon. The attorney denied that Roger faked an injury in the game where he allegedly tipped off his childhood friend that he would be leaving early. Prosecutors said the friend later sold the information as part of a sports betting ring. Roger had a medical follow-up after leaving the game. In March of 2023, his attorney said he had a bunch of people that he appropriately confided in. He had an injury and he didn't play another game, Trustee said. He later added, this is not Jonte Porter. Roger is expected to be released today after putting home up as collateral. Jerry Roger is expected to be released from federal custody later today after a Florida judge denied a request from prosecutors to set a $10 million bond on for the NBA star. Instead, the judge only required Roger to put up his $6 million Florida home as collateral for bond and surrender his passport by tomorrow afternoon. Roger appeared in court wearing a black Hornet hoodie, gym shorts, and low-top sneakers. Vouching his client's character, Roger's attorney, Jim Trusty, told the court that Roger is a man who doesn't gamble. Trusty also used the presence of Roger's mother in the court to emphasize that he is not a flight risk. The government did not seek detention, but rather sought $10 million bond, citing Roger's $20 million salary and $130 million earnings over the years, as well as other valuables and property. Portland Trail Blazers released a statement saying they were cooperating with authorities following the arrest of head coach Chauncey Billups and have named assistant coach Tiago Splitter as the interim head coach. We are aware of the allegations involving head coach Chauncey Billups, and the Trailblazers are fully cooperating with the investigation. And the statement said Billups has been placed on immediate leave, and Tiago Splitter will assume head coaching duties in the interim. The team announced any further questions should be directed to the NBA. Jonte Porter, who pleaded guilty in 2024, being scandal mentioned former Toronto Raptors center Jonte Porter is mentioned in today's sports betting indictment, but Porter himself is not named as a defendant in the scheme. Porter pleaded guilty in 2024 to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Over a betting scandal. It prompted the NBA to ban him. Former center gave tips to other men that he was going to exit 2 games earlier, allowing them or their relatives to place big bets going to a complaint filed in his case. During his plea hearing, Porter said he agreed to withdraw from the games to clear his own gambling debt. NBA Association did an NBA investigation into Porter found that he also wagered on games that he didn't play in, even betting against his own team. to at least um, made an investigation, and a Porter found that he also wagered on games they didn't play in, even betting against his own team. And on them of their own relatives to place big bets. According to the complaint filed in this case. During this plea hearing, Porter said he agreed to withdraw from games to clear his own gambling debts. The NBA investigation also into Porter found that he also wagered on games that he didn't play in, even betting against his own team at least once. Porter faces up to 4 years in prison in addition to large fines, but his sentence has been delayed. Operation Nothing, noting, but bet his indictment mentioned both games Porter pulled out of his alleging that one of Porter's conspirators gave their information to the defendants, named in the indictment to place bets. Six names of suspect in Operation Nothing but bet are facing charges stemming from financial crimes, as well as a larger alleged scheme to sell information for bets. According to prosecutors, a group of co-conspirators that included Jones and Rozier gave non-public information to a network of individuals to place bets. The bets were allegedly all made with the intention of profiting off the scheme at the expense of betting companies. Many of the wagers were placed in connection with betting lines. It did not reflect or account for the private information that the indictments that the indictment said. That's what makes the wagers more profitable. The bets were allegedly made using mobile applications and retail sports books. Prosecutors say the conspiracies. Mm-hmm. Suspects in their closest conspirators were also involved in the payments using a variety of platforms, including peer-to-peer payment, transfer bank wires, and cash exchanges. Prosecutors alleged the rest could have been destabilizing effect on the Portland Trailblazers and the Miami Heat as the NBA season has begun or already begun. New NBC News Andrew Greft details the implication these investigations will have in the team for the team in the league. Conspirators alleged bet $100,000 against the Lakers before Anthony Davis injury went public. Jones also allegedly sold other non-public information about Lakers players to conspirators, and they led up to $100,000 bets against the team during a January 15, 2024 game between Oklahoma City City Thunder. According to the indictment, Jones gave away information about an athlete identified as Player 4 being injured before the game. The information also was not public at the time, and the bet was made hours before the player was listed as probable in the NBA injury report. Anthony Davis was the only Laker player listed on as a probable on injury report from that day. Ultimately, Player 4 played in the January 15th game in line with his season average in minutes and performed well, and the Lakers won the game. The indictment said. Okay. Jones allegedly sold secrets about the Lakers players' injury to gamblers. Jones allegedly sold information on the prominent players' injury to sports bettors. He was an unofficial assistant coach of the Los Angeles Lakers in February of 2023. It said that over the years, Jones had been both a teammate and a coach of the unnamed player, while Jones played on the Cavaliers and coached for the Lakers. The relationship allowed for him access to non-public information. Coach for the Lakers, and the relationship allowed him access to non-public information about the Lakers' medical status. On February 9, 2023, and the Lakers were playing the where the Lakers were playing the Milwaukee Bucks. Jones allegedly texted his co-conspirators that the player would be out that night and to get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight before the information is out, according to the indictment. LeBron James, power forward of the Lakers, was out that night due to a sore left ankle and foot, going to a game recap. Prosecutors alleged that the suspect raked in at least 7.1 due to the rigged poker game since April of 2019, according to the unleashed indictment. Unsealed indictment. Suspects in the case allegedly used threats and violence to ensure the victims paid their debts from the illegal games. The indictment said that in at least one case, a man identified as John Doe number 5 was allegedly extorted by 3 of the defendants to get him to repay the debt. The indictment said that the games carried across the country, including Manhattan, Las Vegas, East Hampton, and Miami. Terry Rozier gave private information about his plan to leave a March 2023 game early to his childhood best friend, who sold the information to conspirators who would place bets on the game and unsealed the indictment alleged. Second indictment released today in the Operation Nothing, but bet alleges that Rozier planned to remove himself from the first quarter of the Charlotte Hornets game against the New Orleans Pelicans. Second indictment released today. Operation Nothing, but Bet alleges that Rozier planned to remove himself from the first quarter of the Charlotte Hornets game against the New Orleans Pelicans over a supposed injury. Prosecutor said he gave the information, which the Hornets weren't aware of, to his childhood best friend, who was also named in the indictment. His friend also promised approximately 100,000 from the expected fraudulent gambling winnings. The indictment said. The first indictment included 32 defendants on a range of charges. Those felonies included wire fraud, conspiracy, money laundering, conspiracy, operation of an illegal gambling business in relation and robbery and extortion, conspiracy under the Hobbs Act, court documents show. The second indictment, which focuses on the alleged sport being conspire betting and conspiracy, only names the defendant facing charges of the wire fraud and money laundering. An unsealed indictment released today laid allegations of a multi-year rigged poker scheme that brought in thousands of dollars, and in one case, nearly 2 million in winnings. The indictment alleges that the group organized legal poker games that were rigged against the wealthy victims. They were used a well-known former professional hockey. Hey there, Albert. Hey there. The indictment alleged that the group organized alleged poker games that were rigged against the wealthy victims. They used well-known former professional athletes to lure their victims, referring to their celebrities as face cards. The document said. Face cards are the members of the cheating teams and they receive a portion of the portion. They use receive a portion of the criminal proceeds in exchange for their participation in the scheme. The indictment said. So-called cheating teams allegedly use shuffling of machines that were supposed to be randomized to ensure farmers, but were allegedly altered to read the cards in the deck. Machines would predict which player at the table had the best hand and send information to an off-site operator. Um, the so-called cheating teams allegedly use altered to read the cards in the deck. The machines would predict which player at the table had the best hand and send that information to an off-site operator. The indictment alleges. In the New York City area games, the Nano Gambino and University crime families alleged use predict and ultimately uh, Mhm. The indictment also accuses the defendants of laundering money from the games through shell companies and third parties. One game in Las Vegas in 2019 allegedly brought in 50,000 in winnings from the victims. The indictment said another game in Manhattan in the summer of 2023 allegedly brought in approximately 1.8 million. Billups and Rozier placed on immediate leave from teams following the arrest. Now, the Billups and Terry Rozier are on immediate leave from the NBA teams, and the league said Thursday in a first statement following news of their arrest. We are in the process of reviewing the federal indictment announced today, and the NBA said in a statement, Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups are being placed on immediate leave from their teams, and we will continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities. We take these allegations with the utmost seriousness and the integrity of our game. Integrity. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We leave from their teams, and we will continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities. Take these allegations with the utmost seriousness and integrity of our game remains on top priority. Federal officials today referred to La Costa Nostra, whose name is from the Sicilian mafia organization. In New York, there are five notorious mafia groups, commonly referred to as the Five Families. The organizations today include the Lucchese, Gambino, Genovese, Colombo, and Bonanno families. The originals date back to the 1930s when the bloody power struggle among the crime families in New York, known as the Casa Maris War, took place. Mm-hmm. Their origins date back to power struggle among crime families. Mm-hmm. Among the crime families. Origins date back. The inner workings of these organized crime rings became public when Joe Valachi, a member of the Genovese crime family, testified at congressional hearings in 1963. Officials sought to crack down on organized crime in 1970, passing the Racketeer Influence in the Corrupt Organization Act. One of the most famous crackdowns on the mafia was led by then U.S. Attorney General Rudy Giuliani, who brought charges against members of the Five Families in the 1980s. The trial was called the Mafia Commission case, a reference to the trial was called the Mafia Commission case and referred to the meeting of the Five Family heads. It's considered among the most successful racketeering cases, resulting in guilty verdicts and against 8 different men. Defendants being charged, poker games. Ben is being charged in the alleged poker scheme committed acts of violence. According to Ben is being charged in the alleged poker scheme committed acts of violence, including extortion to ensure victims pay their gambling debts, robbery at gunpoint to get rigged card shuffling machine. U.S. Attorney Joseph Nocella said their profits were then allegedly laundered through cash exchanges and the use of multiple shell companies, and the profits were then allegedly laundered. The profits were then allegedly laundered through cash exchanges, the use of multiple shell companies, and through cryptocurrency transfers. Major gambling cases among announced by the FBI and Justice Department this morning predated the Trump administration. And a Flores family with the investigation told NBC News. Officials mentioned during the press conference that the case was tied to the case against Jonte Porter, who was charged under the Biden administration. Porter pleaded guilty to the lack of he was charged under the Biden administration. Porter pleaded guilty back in July of 2024 before Biden even dropped out of the 24 presidential race. The source told NBC News. Same presidential prosecutorial team worked on all of the cases. Okay. One of those layer stories, folks. Tish, you want to see police commissioner details how Rozier was allegedly involved in gambling. Tish detailed how Rozier was allegedly involved in the NBA betting scheme, citing on a March 23rd day that he was still playing for the Charlotte Hornets. He later let others close to him know that he was planned to leave the game early with a supposed injury. Um, he allegedly let others close to him know that he planned to leave the game early with a supposed injury. Tish said. Thanks to Rozier, information members of the scheme placed more of the 200,000 on his under statistics. Tish alleged nothing that the bets generated tens of thousands of dollars. That thousands of dollars in profits, which were later delivered to Rozier at home. If the NBA tips off, his career is already on the bench, not for the injury. They delivered to Roger at home, but for integrity. Being cooperating. It is said today that the NBA has been cooperating with the investigation under the number of professional basketball players in relation to alleged gambling schemes. Victims in alleged poker scheme were cheated for out of at least 7 million, said Ricky Patel. The special agent in charge of Homeland Security investigations in New York, we discovered a sprawling criminal enterprise that utilized cutting edge. He discovered a sprawling criminal enterprise that utilized cutting edge technology and various methods of deception to dupe unsuspecting gamblers into playing up so that new cutting edge technology and various methods of deception to dupe unsuspecting gamblers into paying up so that the defendants could cash out as alleged, he said. Christopher Reha, assistant director in charge of the FBI's New York field office, gave an impassioned statement that on the threat of unorganized crime at today's press conference. Let me be clear about the fact that the FBI has not and will never take their eye off the ball when it comes to the Italian organized crime in this city, specifically in the Costa Nostra, in the five families where they're in New York. He sent on and took. He went on to thank FBI, New York City. Um, in the five families here in New York. He went on to thank the FBI, New York Eurasian uh, organized crime task force for its work on the case. New York Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch said the investigation into the legal scheme involving fraudulent NBA bets was dubbed Operation Nothing but Bet. Federal officials are calling the investigation into the alleged poker scheme Operation Royal Flush, according to Ricky Patel, the special agent in charge of the Homeland Security investigation in New York. He added that dozens of suspects were arrested earlier this morning. He described the alleged involvement of the three La Costa Nostra crime families as a wake-up call. The years of investigative work that culminated with the morning's operation seemed reminiscent of a Hollywood movie. But this wasn't a luck, and this wasn't theatrics. He said this was an evidence-driven, relentless, and unidentified a unified effort among the law enforcement to what we have dubbed Operation Royal Flush. Okay, okay. Prosecutors, hidden camera, special eyeglasses. Prosecutors alleged that during the fraudulent poker games, those involved used technology to rig games and cheat victims. Some of those allegedly included poker chips, analyzers. Okay, okay. Prosecutors allege that during the fraudulent poker games, those involved used technology to rig the games and cheat victims. Some of those allegedly included poker chip tray analyzers, which Ocello described as poker chip trays that secretly read cards with a hidden camera and special contact lenses or eyeglasses that can read pre-marked cards. Mm-hmm. Contact lenses and eyeglasses and the read pre-marked cards. X-ray table that could read cards face down. Mm-hmm. An X-ray table that could read cards face down on the table was also used in Ocello's alleged. Three of the more than 30 defendants targeted in today's indictments were allegedly involved in both the sports betting scheme and the fraudulent gambling scheme, said Christopher Rayo, assistant director in charge of the FBI in New York City's office. Oh, gambling scheme. Oh, okay, where was I? Three of the more than 30 defendants targeted in today's indictment was allegedly involved in both the sports betting scheme and the fraudulent gambling scheme, said Christopher Rayo, assistant director in charge of the FBI. Mm, involved in both the scheme and the fraudulent gambling scheme, said Christopher Rayo, assistant director in charge of the FBI as New York field office. It was not immediately clear which of the three were indicted in connection with the both schemes. Professional athletes allegedly used face cards to hire. Okay. It's part of the alleged scheme to fix poker games in the reason. It's part of the alleged As part of the alleged scheme to fix poker games, professional athletes were allegedly used to dollar as part of the alleged scheme to fix poker games, professional athletes. Mhm. As part of the alleged scheme in mm, used to lure victims to the table with prosecutors describing them as face cards. The so-called face cards, including defendant Chauncey Billups, who were at the time of the scheme was a former NBA player, and said currently the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, and also Damon Jones, a former prosecutor. Um, and, at the time of the scheme was a former NBA player and currently in the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers. Also, Damon Jones, a former player, no sellers said. Victims were allegedly referred to as fish, people who had a idea of revenge. Mm-hmm. Victims were allegedly referred to as yes. Okay. Once again, it's these stories. The NBC put out latest stories. They're like a survivor. You pretty much gotta be willing to survive to the end as far as these layered stories. But we're gonna stop it right there. Y'all pretty much get the point of this story, and no use to continue to move on. Um, but all I'm gonna do is to replace me not reading the whole story is uh, ask for opinions. What do you think about this story? What do you think about the rest and the scandal altogether? Drop your opinions in the comment section, and I'll answer them. I'll pick them up. But that is going to do it. Cause sleep once again attacks me again. Shoot, man, oh man, shoot. But we know what we're gonna do. But yeah, I'm gonna cut it off right here. Like I said, if you got any opinions on this story, this bombshell, big time scandal that broke out in the NBA not too long ago, just drop them in the comment section of this episode, and I will pick them up. Uh, Well, that would do it. This is another episode of the Reporter Vlog News. Y'all have a good one. My goodness, yeah, like I said, we're gonna make up for it, but always have a good night's sleep. It's the only other word I have to spit out for me to you. But y'all have a good one. I'm ran my mouth enough. I'm gone.